Ava and Michael had been friends for years, since college. Now in their 30s, they had ordinary lives, steady jobs, and a friendship that felt like a refuge from everything else. Ethan was a software engineer, rational, quiet, the kind of person who thought in lines of code. Ava was an interior architect, creative and precise, but often lost in her own perfectionism. And Michael was a writer, a dreamer caught somewhere between fiction and reality. Every summer, the three of them took a trip together, a tradition born in their early 20s. That year, Ava had a new idea. "Let's go somewhere off-grid," she said. "There's a cabin in a place called Hollow Creek. No phone service. Total silence." Michael laughed. "Even the name sounds haunted." Ava smiled. "It'll be good for us. Peace, quiet, nature." Ethan shrugged. "Why not?" And just like that, their summer trip was set. The road narrowed as they drove deeper into the woods. The trees arched overhead, branches twisting together so tightly that only a thin, gray thread of sky remained. The air smelled damp, a mix of wet earth, moss, and something metallic underneath. By the time they reached the cabin, night had already fallen. It was an old wooden house, its dark timbers worn smooth by decades of weather. The windows were small, like half-closed eyes. Ava whispered, "It feels alive somehow." Michael chuckled. "You say that about every old house." But even Ethan felt it, a strange vibration under the calm. The wind through the trees didn't sound right. There was something beneath it, a whisper, soft and rhythmic, like breath rising from the ground. The power flickered that first evening. The lights dimmed, then steadied again. Ava blamed the wiring. Michael lit an old lantern and sat by the window, jotting notes into his journal. It was close to midnight when he heard it, the faint creak of footsteps on the porch outside. He assumed it was Ethan or Ava until he opened the door and found nothing but fog. Thick, rolling fog pressed against the trees, swallowing the path. Something moved at the edge of his vision, small, dark, and quick. When he turned, there was only silence. He exhaled and muttered, "Just a shadow, Mike. Just a shadow." But when he turned back toward the cabin, the door was wide open, and a trail of muddy footprints led from the threshold to the middle of the room, and stopped. By morning, the footprints were gone. Ethan said, "The mud probably dried up and flaked away." But Michael knew better. The prints hadn't faded, they'd ended. Right there, in the center of the room, as if the person who made them had simply ceased to exist. That night, the footsteps returned. Then the whispers. Sometimes they sounded like Ava's voice, calling from the woods while she slept inside. Ethan tried to record the sounds. When he played it back, there were no voices, just the steady, pulsing sound of a heartbeat. Michael stared at the speaker. "It's like the cabin's alive, breathing." On the third day, Ava started cleaning the walls. Her hand stopped when she noticed faint scratches across the wood, barely visible under the dust. With more light, she realized they were words, carved deep into the timber. "We are still here." Her scream brought the others running. Michael whispered, "Who would write that?" Ethan said, "Let's just pack up and leave." But when they stepped outside, both tires of the car were slashed, and the road, the one they'd driven in on, was gone, swallowed by the trees. That night, Ava disappeared. The cabin door was still locked from the inside. No signs of struggle, only a thin layer of damp soil on her bed, as though someone had come in from the forest and lain there for a moment, before leaving again. Michael panicked. "We have to find her." Ethan grabbed his arm. "If we go out there, we won't come back." But Michael went anyway. He took a flashlight and stepped into the fog. Ethan sat awake all night, listening. Just before dawn, footsteps returned. Slow, deliberate. He ran to the door, hoping to see Michael. But it wasn't him. What stood outside looked almost human. Pale gray skin, hollow eyes, lips moving soundlessly. And from its mouth came that same heartbeat sound. Deep, rhythmic, wrong. Ethan slammed the door. The pounding continued until morning. By daylight, silence. Ethan peered through the window. The trees were closer now, their trunks pressing against the glass, as if they were leaning in to listen. He turned toward the wall where Ava had found the carving. Under the old words, new ones had appeared. One heart left. Then he heard it. The thumping. Not outside, not upstairs. Below. He found the trapdoor under the rug and opened it. The air that rose was thick, metallic, the scent of blood and rot. He aimed his flashlight down the narrow steps and froze. The cellar walls were covered in red, pulsing roots, glistening wet, and they were moving. In the center of them all, something massive throbbed. A heart, human-shaped but impossibly large, pumping slowly, shaking the floor. A whisper echoed from every direction at once. 3 came. 2 stayed. 1 remains. The roots twitched, then lunged. Ethan screamed as they coiled around his legs, dragging him down into the pulsing dark. A week later, a search team found the cabin. It was empty. No trace of Ethan, Ava, or Michael. Only a message carved freshly into the wall. "We are still here." And in the cellar, they found something they could not explain. The wood was wet, soft, and still beating.